This week's roundup is all about the things I've been working on. I will show you a few things and I'm going to talk about a couple things. My audio podcast this week has links to the crocheted unicorn bag, which I'm making for my granddaughters, but I'm not going to show it this week because I need to sew it all together. Very simple, adorable. It's at the Five Little Monsters blog, the number 5. The other things that I've been working on, they're planning for the holidays, so I've got a lot of great things planned, and I'll probably share a few of them with you as we go. And I ran into a couple of other problems this week where I realized, do I really want to continue this to a full-size project or scale it back? Now, when I did my audio podcast, I scaled one back, and that was the hexagon temperature quilt, and I'm going to show you why. It's because there's not that many diverse colors in the quilt because this year it's been a temperature of a lot of cold days, and we're already heading into colder days. Over half of the quilt is high temperatures are blue because it's been so cold. And there's like a couple of orange, so it'll be blue, navy blue, a little bit mid blue, and orange with a couple of greens in the middle. I mean, it's not as interesting as I would hoped it would have been strictly by the rules of a temperature quilt, but I think it's going to be fine because I have a couple of ideas on how to lay it out. It'll make it fun, and it's my first English paper piece project, so I'm good with that. Now, the other thing that I've been working on is the raffia weave quilt. And I had a couple of miscuts in the jelly roll. If you miscut on a kit, that means you have to go buy a whole nother jelly roll. And I am too far into this to go buy another jelly roll. And I thought, well, why do I have to make it full size? It's a shop sample. They're going to fold it up to be postage stamp sized anyway. The quilt will be mine when I'm finished. So, word to the wise. If you do make this raffia weave quilt, it's absolutely lovely. It's a pattern by Violet Craft. Buy 2 jelly rolls because maybe you'll want to make it bigger. Or if you're like me, maybe you're going to make a mistake. And some of the measurements are so precise that if you make a mistake, and I paper pieced mine and cut them a little bit bigger, and now I don't have enough of certain colors to make the quilt work. So, live and learn. And the other part is I'm okay with it being smaller. I don't want to go invest more money to make this a bigger quilt. It's an experiment of doing a diagonal set. It's all strips and it's going to be very cool when it's done. But this is why quilt kits sometimes are a great big pain, because the measurements are so precise. If you make one goof in a cut, which I did about 4 times, I'm pretty sure, and I don't think she has a fat quarter of it, and I don't want to go searching all over the internet. I could, I just don't want to. And then I come to these big epiphanies. Well, why do I have to? Just make it smaller. I bought the quilt. So let's go look at the things that I'm talking about. So here is my temperature quilt. This is the more color. There's still a lot of blue in it. Look at this. It's, like I said, it adds up to being half of the quilt because it's cold. I live in a deep freeze. It's super cold. Really cold. And when it's white, that's below 0. Wow. So I've been deciding to wrap that up. And this week, my little apple mug rug got published. This is a reject sample because it was my first attempt. But this mug rug is free on Sulky's blog. Oh, sorry about that. And it's a tutorial and a free paper piecing pattern on the apple mug rug. This week in the Cricut, I cut out a shadow box. So I'm on my way to Lowe's to find spacer material. I've heard people use weather stripping because all of these layers will be pulled out, and see how it gets 3-dimensional, and then the deer in the back row will even stand out. And I might even stick lights behind it. So I've been working on all of these things, but let me show you what came off of the long arm this week. This lovely quilt came off the long arm this week, and I did swirls in the center blocks where the bright colors are, but on that border I did a free motion feather, and I'm going to show you how I practiced this when drawing before I went ahead and did it on a quilt. This light gray SoFi thread is not as light as it looks, but it looks almost white, but it blends right in. And on a solid background, that turned out really well. Let me show you how I made this feather border. The first thing you have to do is you have to draw a spine. So I would sneak in with the long arm and just go ahead and draw a spine. Then when I got to the end, I would do these teardrop or ear shaped or half a heart shape all the way down. I always leave my pen on the paper just like I would be long arming and not breaking thread. So once I got to the bottom, I would start reversing that look, that petal, and go bottom to the top, and then I would come to the very top. Then I would start working my way down the spine again, making this stem look. And of course, you have to go slow on backtracking and try to make the stems alternate between long and short. And that is how I make free motion feathers with a spine. You can get real fancy, so like as you get going, if you're like, oh, I really would like to add a curl in here. Or, oh, when I get to the top, I would like to do a swoopy swirly thing. Or maybe I would like to do something on the outside of the leaves on the way down. You can get as crazy as you want to. And that is my tip for the week, how to draw a free motion feather so that when you go ahead and you're going to quilt it, you just start in and do the same exact motions that you did when you were drawing it. There we go. I would suggest not using white on black for your first attempt. Everybody have a great week and quilt on, everyone.